Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scenes. Seated at our table tonight, Gwen Tompkins, host of the WWNO radio program Music Inside Out. Welcome back, kiddo.
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
See you
Happy
again.
to be here.
Hello. Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, also airing twice weekly on WWNO. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hi, Peg.
He's back. It's been a while. Artist Jim Blanchard, who has a major exhibit on view at the Ogden Museum these days, and a major book, which we'll show you too. Welcome.
Thank
Hello.
you.
And Steppin Out theater critic, Mr. Alan Smason of theatercriticism.com. But first up, Poppy.
My question of the week, what's up with all the fried chicken? Now, if you didn't hear that today is National Fried Chicken Day, we're just going to jump into that theme. Now, a few weeks ago, I talked to you all about Fried Chicken Mondays at the Roosevelt's Fountain Lounge. And then we just heard this last week, T. Martin and Daryl Reginelli are teaming up with a new fried chicken restaurant on Magazine Street. And then this thing comes into my email box, fried chicken at Antoine's, apparently as part of their summer lunch special, which is $20.18, and that's Monday through Saturday. One of the dishes they're offering is fried chicken with mac and cheese and collard greens at Antoine's. You can have that with your pomme souffle. And so this is just blowing my mind. And then I get this invitation. Today, you see, is 78 days until Fried Chicken Festival, the new phenom in September. That's September the 22nd and 23rd. So they had, in honor of the holiday, a kickoff to the event. And I have some incredible fried chicken dishes in front of me from Manning's Restaurant. Here is a fried chicken thigh on a toasted bun with some spicy peach relish. Ooh. Heard That Kitchen. Now, I haven't been, but I'm going. This is a fried thigh with mac and cheese and crawfish cream. It's a restaurant at 2520 Felicity, and that is Chef Heard. Heard that. Then, now, you know, it's not much of a beautiful picture, but it's food truck food, and it is so yummy. This is from Bonafried, the food truck.
Bonafried.
It's a buttermilk fried chicken with dill pickle and honey on a bun. And then, holy moly, this is Sweet Legacy. And Sweet Legacy has chicken and beignets with pecan honey butter glaze. And you can find them on Facebook. Incredible, huh? Now, the Fried Chicken Festival has a deal on their VIP lounge, early bird tickets, just $50, and there's minis of Moet and Chandon in that VIP lounge at the Fried Chicken Festival. And, you know, a lot of people feel like that is the thing to drink with your fried chicken. So pursuant to that, they're not serving fried chicken at Arnaud's. However, on Thursday nights, it's bottomless Moet and Chandon for just $25 with your dinner. Think of all the Moet and Chandon on Thursday nights.
Boy, does that sound good.
Isn't that amazing? And so make your reservations, because that dining room is going to fill up. And then, of course, coming, I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to miss you terribly. I'll be at Slow Food Nation in Denver. But July 17th through the 22nd is Tales of the Cocktail. So there's a lot of events that are still available. You just have to go to their site. And I'd like to point out that the best deal, the best way to do Tales of the Cocktail, you buy $150 in tickets in any combination of any event that you want to attend. And then once you've made that $150 purchase, you get that magical wrist taste band for the tasting rooms. And the tasting rooms, they're at the Royal Sonesta, they're at the Monteleone. You can really have a lot of fun and learn so much, because this is an educational event. People come from all over the world. We're about to have 30,000 bartenders and cocktail industry professionals descend on the city, thank God, in that month of July.
Absolutely, and there are historic panels, and of course, a reminder, it's under new ownership, isn't it?
Yes, this will be the first year that it'll be guided by Neil Bodenheimer and Gary Solomon, and then they have a foundation in place that's doing incredible industry work that Caroline Rosen is running.
Okay, but we wish Ann Tuneman well, because she's a great gal.
she's moved on to new things, but she sold her baby and it's alive and kicking, coming up on the 17th of July.
Thank you very much. And talking to Miss Gwen, Essence, the essence of Essence, please.
The essence of Essence. In fact, there's a lot of change happening here this year. You know, Essence magazine, which of course sponsors the festival, they've been sold. They were sold earlier this year, and the contract between Essence and New Orleans, you know what I mean, as a venue for its annual festival, that's up this year. So a lot may be renegotiated, and we might be looking at a grand finale of the Essence Festival this year. And so if there's any time that you're going to go to Essence, this is the time. There are some wonderful performers who are going to be there. There are wonderful lecturers. I believe there are some Idris Elba sightings this weekend, which everybody would like to see, yes. Of course, the Roots are performing, and so many other great artists. In particular, I think it's going to be lovely because there are New Orleans artists who are going to be in that number. And I have two recommendations for Sunday. At the Ernest Morial Convention Center at 125, not 124 or 126, but 125, it's going to be Erica Falls, the wonderful vocalist Erica Falls. She's sung with so many different people, and now she's sort of stepping out on her own, has been for a while now, and is just a terrific vocalist. Incredible firepower in that little pretty body. And then later on in the evening, there's going to be Big Freedia.
Never dull.
And Big Freedia, of course, has performed at the festival before, but this is the first time Big Freedia will be at the Superdome. And so Big Freedia has two performances in the 9 o'clock hour in the Super Lounges area of the Superdome on that tier, and that's all in advance of the Janet Jackson concert on Sunday night at the Superdome. And so, if you have interest in going to any of these concerts or any of the discussions and lectures, all you have to do is go to the Essence website, you know, essencefestival.com website, and just register. You know, particularly if you're going to the Morial Center, you just register. It's free. You can go. You can download their app on your mobile phone. It's free, and Erica Falls' performance will be free.
Wow, that's a deal.
It's
My
amazing.
goodness.
And then Big Freedia, Big Freedia is free, but with strings, in the sense that if you have purchased a ticket to a concert at the Superdome on Sunday, then Big Freedia will be free for you. And of course, you know that Big Freedia's theme is just be free. So this is perfect. This is perfect for her, and so it's going to be terrific. Now, you know, this is an odd time of year because it's a time in 2018 where we are really mourning and also venerating some wonderful New Orleans musical artists. And as you know, Henry Butler, the wonderful pianist, passed away last week. He was terrific, and if you've ever missed him, go on YouTube or go read John Perellis's great obituary of him in the New York Times this week, and you're going to know so much more about this lovely man and listen to his records. And so the Stanton Moore Trio last week, they have a stand at Snug Harbor on Tuesday nights, and so they performed some songs in honor of Henry Butler last week, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did so again this coming week. Also at Snug Harbor on Tuesday evening, it's two shows, one at 8, one at 10, and the Stanton Moore Trio is an extraordinary and I would say historic trio in New Orleans. It's Stanton Moore, of course, on drums, who's a phenomenal jazz and funk drummer. There's also Dave Torkanowski on piano and James Singleton on bass. I mean, you can't get better than that.
Quite the trio, yeah.
It really is. And I mean, they have just done wonderful work, and I hope that they, they get all the accolades they deserve, because not only are they continuing the legacy, but they are actually, the real deal, and we're going to be continuing their legacy, in the years to come. So I would suggest that you go. I'm going to try to make it myself.
All right, thank you so much, Gwen. Yeah. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Maria Yaklova gave us the names of 2 local avenues named after signers of the Declaration of Independence. The answers are Jefferson and Franklin. Now tonight's question. Before they were called the Baby Cakes, New Orleans' minor league baseball teams have had 2 other names. What are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wys.org. Our prizes: a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, an infant's onesie with the message, "This little piggy went to French Market," from our friends at wearablevegetables.com, and a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to WYS.org for our online calendar to view our lineup of events, including meeting Chef Kevin Belton tomorrow at the Covington Farmers Market. There's a New Orleans fashion show, Fashion Week designer sale pop-up tomorrow, size small, and that is on Joseph Street. Look at that in our calendar. And a book signing on Tuesday evening for that wonderful new Bayou St. John book. You can also link to our WYS YouTube channel to see our program. And now, Jim. Jim, this has been many, many years in the making, huh? This new exhibit at the Ogden for you. All about you.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Yes.
your beautiful art. Now, you call them what is the
They're
technical?
architectural archival watercolor drawings. Yes, they're paintings, but they're actually measured drawings. They're inch-for-inch details with layers and layers of the street life and the depth on top of it. So it's a combination of everything. But really, the old-timers, what they called them back then, were drawings.
Now, of course, the Notarial Archives is full of these wonderful architectural drawings that you actually had to do when you were buying property in the 1800s. Were you inspired by some of that when you were thinking about these?
The
We're gonna show some
Persac
of yours,
drawings
of
and many
course.
of the others in the archives and all. But it's interesting, when I first started drawing, and I was on Magazine Street in New Orleans, and this elderly man came knocking on my door one day, and I'm looking for Jim Blanchard, the artist, and that's me. And he was like, "No, it must be your father or grandfather." I'm going, "No, it's me." And he just couldn't believe that a young guy, I mean, this is 35, 40 years ago, was doing this. And
Well, it's such detail. And let me just point this out, because I think people take for granted, especially with computers. This is by hand.
it's all by hand. And I go out and measure the building. If the buildings are still there, I measure what's there and use those measurements, or I go to documents in all the archival collections and museums and everywhere, start from that and work my way into putting the building on paper so you could actually see what it looked like in that period.
Oh, that is amazing. Amazing. So tell us about specifically this show at the Ogden.
The show at the Ogden, I was very blessed to get the show there. It was the first time they did a show of not contemporary work. So it was in conjunction with the Salazar portraits, which worked out perfect for the exhibit. But I have 65 of my paintings on exhibit there. And along with artifacts and parts of the buildings and parts of the history and paperwork that I used to create these drawings. So it's like, with a building, I'll have an element that came from that building.
Wow.
And so it really makes people say, "Oh, wow, it really existed." It's not just a picture.
And long after that exhibit is closed, there's a book.
That's the book.
Now, what I like so much about the book is not only does it contain your artwork, but you've gone to great trouble to find archival photographs and paintings, older, original, about these same buildings. And you can see some of these rare photographs of some of the images that you've done.
Right.
I like you're connecting the two. I know you're the Mr. History guy, research is your middle name.
The St. Charles Hotel, which is the highlight of the show. There's only one photograph of the building, taken from Canal Street at an angle. That's the only known image of it. And in that photograph, you could actually see the dome is leaning about 15 degrees. The dome was contracted to be dismantled because it was breaking away from the building and leaning. But the building burned to the ground before they were able to dismantle it. But that building was the first great hotel built. Hotels were small. And then New Orleans came up and built 2 great hotels of 400 rooms. The world had never seen anything like that. And then this dome is equivalent to a 20-story building today. It's just, how did they build that at that time without modern help? But this drawing is inch for inch dimensions of the building.
Wow.
So you're seeing it for the first time straight on what the building would have looked like.
once again,
Although
this
you
is on
couldn't
the
have
co- we're
seen it
talking
like
about
that
on the
because of the
cover.
street depths.
Uh-huh.
But my paintings are like windows looking from far away and then looking into them and seeing the paintings, like just a snapshot of time.
Now, Jim, not only, of course, do you do this, but you do many other things too. You do a lot of interior design work and architectural work.
I do a little bit of everything.
I know you've worked very closely with Kevin Kelly
Yes,
at
at Homeless House.
Magnificent
And
Homeless House.
we're building a 29,000 square foot museum there right now. It's under construction. And it will be the history and of the Mississippi River and the Great River Road from pretty much Baton Rouge to the mouth of the river. No one's really tackled that in a large scale before. So that's what we'll be doing. And it'll allow us and a lot of other people that have beautiful collections to be able to put them on exhibit. Where a lot of these places that house collections, they don't have the space nor the funds to put these pieces up. So we'll be able to do that there.
That would be magnificent. Now, back to your show for a second. In August, you'll have some two salons.
Yes, the show ends August 19th, and on August 9th, which is a Thursday, I will be there from 5 to 8.
Okay, 5 to 8 or 4 to 7.
4 to 8.
Double check.
And I'll
double
be there
check
if
with the
anyone wants to come by
icon.
to talk and
Yeah,
talk about the exhibit.
okay.
And also on that following Saturday, on the
Saturday.
11th, I'll be there pretty much all day.
Great. And the book is available.
The book is
around town?
available at the Ogden Museum, at the Historic New Orleans Collection, at
And all those
Altavia
places.
Books and the Garden District Books and a couple of other places.
All right. Well, thank you. We're so glad you're with us once
Thank
again.
you.
Always working on beautiful things. And now it's time for our additional artist spotlight. Tonight we are also featuring the work of artist Will Smith Jr. And we have Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen. And originally from Natchez, Mississippi, Smith enjoys using aspects of New Orleans culture as his artistic inspiration. This is called Ernie Cato, Emperor of the Universe. Smith's work, as well as other local artists, will be featured in a group show in honor of New Orleans' tricentennial. The reception's tomorrow night. That's at Gallery 600 right there at Julia and Camp. And the show will be there until July 31st. Now, Alan.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of Broadway history for you. And this is really not Broadway history as much as it is TV history, because back in 1956, Rodgers and Hammerstein were approached about writing a musical for television, the first time it had ever been attempted. And the team were really sold on the project because it was an opportunity for them to work with Julie Andrews, who was at that time playing Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady in 1956. 1957, they ended up broadcasting Cinderella, based on the children's fairy tale by Charles Perrault. And of course, when it was aired, an estimated 107 million people saw it on television. It was the largest TV audience of its time. Now, back in 2013, Cinderella was staged for the first time on Broadway with a new book by Douglas Carter Beane. And while it was not nominated for a Tony, it did stay on Broadway for 22 months at the Broadway Theater. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, because of its remarkable power and perhaps because of its timeless story for adults and children alike, the Cinderella story is being brought to the Sanger. That production from 2013 is still on the road, believe it or not, and it is coming now to the Sanger for a very short run, only 3 days. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I want to talk about the entire season for the Sanger, because that is going to show up right after Hamilton, which of course everybody's looking forward to. A note too that the Hancock Whitney Bank is now the official sponsor of the Broadway in New Orleans series. So let's start off and review the season. First off, there's Disney's Aladdin with the wonderful Michael James Scott, who is going to be portraying the genie. This is probably my favorite Disney animated film transformed into a musical, and although Beauty and the Beast is right up there too. Andrew Lloyd Webber's School of Rock opens in late October, and that's based upon that crazy Jack Black film, of course. And the kids actually, though, will perform. This is a wonderful show because of the fact that the performers are all kids, and they all do fantastic. And again, they're playing their own instruments, and many of them go on to other things late in life, you know, as it were, but they're right now starting out on stage. Gloria Estefan and her husband Emilio, their story is told in On Your Feet, which of course also deals with that tragic bus crash that almost took her life and her recovery from it. And finally, before Christmas, there's Elf the Musical. That's based on that film starring Will Ferrell, of course. Yeah. Now, in 2019, they're going to be opening with 2 perennial favorites, which are, of course, the first is an add-on, Les Miserables, which you can get in addition to the season, and the Book of Mormon, which will be returning for the 3rd time in 5 years. But then, the most nominated musical in Tony history, Hamilton, an American musical, will be opening on March the 12th for what essentially is a 20-day run. And following that will be Cinderella, as we mentioned. It's only going to be a 3-day run, so I encourage everybody to get tickets just as soon as possible for that. And finally, the little musical that won Best Director honors last year, Come From Away. The story of 9/11 is told about the people from Gander, Newfoundland, as well as the people who had to deplane there because of 9/11. And basically the grounding of all American airspace. It's a little quirky story, but a wonderful, wonderful musical score, and I encourage everyone to attend that. That's a lot of fun. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Beauty and the Beast, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, is going to be maybe the one other Disney musical that I really enjoy so much and might give Aladdin a little bit of a run for its money. I'm going to be away next week like somebody else. But I did want to alert our regular viewers that Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts will be unveiling their Beauty and the Beast. Now, this is the senior production because I've already had a junior production for kids. So this is going to have, believe it or not, the original costumes from the original Broadway cast will be at Rivertown. They're going to be renting them. Now, of course, and so you can imagine how wonderful that's going to be. And they have a splendid cast that's already been announced. Terrific job, I'm sure, that they're going to do. So those of you who haven't already gotten your tickets, do so. They've added a few extra shows as well. Meanwhile, Southern Rep has announced that they're going to add a couple of shows themselves for the Elephant and Piggies. We're in a Play. This is a kids show, of course, at Marquette Theater. And again, I don't, normally do a lot of kids promotion as far as it goes because there's so many productions during the summertime. But I did want to mention this because it is Southern Rep, and they have very, very wonderful productions for kids. And this is going to be at Marquette Theater at Loyola University. And finally, let me just say, one of my favorite things during the summertime, besides Tales of the Cocktail, is the National World War II Museum's annual competition, the Stage Door Idol competition. It starts this coming Tuesday and runs for 5 weeks until the new Stage Door Idol is going to be selected, or crowned, if you will, in mid-August. I'm going to be a judge again on July the 17th, so get your tickets for that night as well. And here I am, if you didn't want to see me, with last year's winner, Margi Cates. Again, it's a wonderful night and really wonderfully done. And again, I give a shout out to the entertainment staff over there. Stage Door Idol, again, the 17th for me, and the honors for the Stage Door Idol competition will be finalized in mid-August. So there you go.
All right. I'm looking forward. I'm going to go see Macbeth tonight.
Oh.
You mean the Scottish play?
Yes.
Yes. There's a really interesting story about we don't say that name of that play in a theater because
really?
Yeah,
Okay,
if you say it inside a theater, they'll make you go outside, turn around 3 times, and say a dirty word.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now time for our picks of the week. Gwen.
Okay. Well, gosh, if you say that word in a studio, is that the same as a theater?
I don't know. This is a theater of sorts.
All right, none of that. No Scottish performers even. But this Tuesday, actually, Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the Ellis Marsalis Performing Arts Center, Music Center, I should say, is going to be the jazz flutist Nikia Russell. And she actually teaches children at the center, but she's a wonderful flute player, and she's going to be there with her family. This is the beginning, perhaps, of a dynasty of women, because her daughter, Kristen, plays saxophone. And it's supposed to be a wonderful performance. It's going to be at 6 o'clock at the Ellis Marsalis Music Center, and it's going to be $3.
Oh, that's a deal.
Yeah, that's going to be in the 9th Ward.
Wow,
I think
so that's
it's
in the Musicians Village.
That's
isn't
right.
it?
It's in Musicians Village. I think the address is 1601. I want to say Bartholomew.
Yes.
Street. Yeah. No, 1901 Bartholomew Street. If you go to
excuse me.
1601, you'll be knocking on somebody's door offering them $3, and maybe they'll take it, but they won't play as well.
That's a very good point. Very good point, Miss Gwen. Poppy.
Well, the first ever New Orleans Black Restaurant Week ends this weekend. This is something that's been successful in Atlanta, Houston, Los Angeles, Oakland, and Philadelphia. Before coming here, there's a couple dozen restaurants. There's food, casual dining, 15 to 25 per person, 35 to 45 for fine dining options. So check that out. And then next Thursday, July 19th, Serena Johnson, one of the most talented black women chefs I've ever met, at Liberty's Kitchen. That's where she started. She is something else. Only $50. Go see Serena Johnson, fundraiser for Liberty's Kitchen.
All right, Jimmy. A book? How about the Homeless
Yes.
House book?
Well, that's another one. But I just want everyone to know, if y'all on August 9th and August 11th, come on by the Ogden Museum. We're having fun
so much
talking
fun.
about my paintings
Yeah.
and the book and everything else.
Well, I think
Any
that's a unique
questions, we'd love to
experience
be there.
because, you know, you explain what you did.
Yes, and it's the last chance because the exhibit ends on the 19th.
Okay, yeah. And a lot of those paintings, of course, are owned by other
They
collectors.
go back
so they
into
just
private
go
collections and
back.
museum collections, so
Yeah.
you'll never be able to see them again as a collection.
All right, Jim. Thank you.
I acknowledge Gwen will probably know who this is. Glenn Gaines died this past week as well. He was a behind-the-scenes manager for a number of different acts in the music business here in New Orleans. Let everybody know that the debauchery, that's a continuing soap opera that's been written by Pat Bourgeois, that's going to continue now at the Church of Yoga, which is just around the corner from their new digs, where they're going to be basically setting up shop at the St. Rose of Lima Church, which is the new home of Southern Rep. So again, they're right in that same area, right off of Bayou Road. Tickets are just $10.
All right, and to kick off my picks, I wanted to share some scenes from the new Cirque du Soleil style show Circovia, currently running at the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. This is so beautiful. Note the talented 12-year-old twins. Look at they're the amazing aerialists who open the show. Especially enjoyed the emphasis on acrobatics. Look at them, they're darling. And the talented aerialists, the scenery was very clever and didn't overwhelm. Family friendly, fine view from any seat. Look at this. There is a clown. In between the scene changes, the good old clown. And it was marvelous. Circovia is running now through August the 7th. That's at the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino. A great little field trip over in Biloxi, not too far. Tickets range from just $13 to $30 and can be purchased through the Beau Rivage's website. Not to be missed. And I don't say that very often, not to be missed. Now for my picks. The National Depression Glass Association is holding its 44th annual glass show and sale this weekend at the Pontchartrain Center on Williams Boulevard in Kenner. Admission is $8, and that admission price is good for both days when you buy your ticket. Here are some images from beloved local artist Rolland Golden from way back when, and it is called Crossing the Line, the exhibit, and will have its opening reception tomorrow night at the McGrider Gallery on Julia Street. The exhibit runs until the end of July. Celebrating Bastille Day and Edgar Degas' 184th birthday next Thursday evening at the Degas House on Esplanade Avenue. There'll be live entertainment and hors d'oeuvres with a cash bar, but free admission, so that'd be a lot of fun. If you've never been to Degas House, very important place, and he was there in 1872. Amazing. Thank you all so much. Great to see you all, of course.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Good night.